almost set and ready to go. And it'll be NC State all whites with first kick, white tops, white bottoms, and the blue tops, blue bottoms for Pitt. It's a Pitt team again, 7-1 on the year. We're in the top 25. We're undefeated as the early flag goes up until a loss last week on the road at Xavier, who has been a quiet force in the mid-major ranks for a couple of years now. They did rebound, though, with a 2-1 win over Cincinnati, staying in the area. And they're looking to try and figure things out. We talked to Randy Waldrum early this week, and he told us, look, we like what we have. We have experience. We have Amanda West coming back into the fold. But Casey, they are still trying to figure out how all of those pieces can work. And sometimes having too many pieces can be a challenge as you kind of get to the middle of the season.
It can, and I think most coaching staffs like that depth from a training perspective because it provides a competitive environment. Everybody's wanting play, but also as the season goes on, you start to really solidify your partnerships and your lineups. So it can be difficult to manage that in the players when they're not maybe getting as much playing time, but it's really good so far for them just having a lot of goals come from different places.
Paul Robinson, early service, good run down the right flank. Pitt, though, able to withstand the run just for the time being and hoping to hit the Wolfpack in transition. It is a wet and rainy day in Raleigh. Temps in the mid-70s. We'll see how that plays a part. It's a Wolfpack team that has struggled this season, and if they are going to find a win against the Panthers, Casey, what do you think they need to do?
Initially, they need to have a compact defensive shape, not a lot of space between the lines, making sure they're stepping together, dropping together, holding that defensive line, because the Pittsburgh attack, as we've spoken about, can create a lot of chances. But if they want to play themselves into the game, they're going to have to get numbers forward around Jamiche Joseph. The play goes through her a lot, but she's going to need that support getting forward.
Something that the Pack has struggled with is getting those numbers forward. All right, for Pitt now, what do you think they'll have to do to try and get win number 8 on the year?
Well, something that they've proven through non-conference play is that they're able to keep possession. So the way they defend when they do lose the ball is going to be very important. When they do have the ball in possession, can they have good speed of play and good ball movement to shift the collective defending of NC State?
Joseph trying to do just that. The Pack star player, emergency defending, knocked out of bounds. Was that the last touch by Joseph? I believe that it was a goal kick. You see Randy Waldrum. Gosh, what has he not accomplished? In his time at Notre Dame, became a legend. His added Nigerian national team honors as the manager, took them to the World Cup, got to the knockout stage, and a heartbreaker in penalty kicks against England. But that's one of the all-time great coaches, Casey, even back to when you played for Anson Dorrance. A lot of respect for Randy Waldrum all around the game.
Always have had a lot of respect for him, like you said, all the way back to when he was at Notre Dame, then spent some time in the professional game. Now doing a bit of both, the international game plus collegiately here in the ACC. And Pittsburgh's really lucky to have a coach of his caliber leading the charge.
Randy got Pitt to the Sweet 16 last year in Pitt's first ever NCAA tournament appearance. They feel that they can go even further this season. Service, box, header, Abiodun. And on the other side, as this goal kick is placed on the box, Tim Santoro, it's been an interesting season. You could hear his frustration earlier this week. It's a team that hasn't won a game since late August, but a program that has had so much success, especially over the last decade. 6 NCAA tournament appearances, Casey, a couple of Sweet 16s to boot as well. The Pack have been a force in the ACC for the better part of the last 5 or 6 years.
They have. He's really brought a great expectation to this program and what they can do. And yes, it's been disappointing a little bit, but they're in every game they're playing, and there's a fresh start here. And already we're seeing how NC State's able to go forward a little bit more, taking a little bit of the home advantage. And a lot of that has to do with how a coach manages their emotions during those hard times and how that translates to their players. He
told us this week, he said, look, morale in the locker room is not as strong as it's ever been. our job as coaches and some of the leaders on the team is to figure out how to keep the energy high, how to keep the optimism. You got to think a win today over a very good Pitt team that's expected to contend for the league crown would be a good starting point to turning your season around. Now the Panthers into the attack. Service. Was there a deflection? Believe that there was. Corner. There's Deborah Abiodun, member of the Nigerian national team, one of the star freshmen in the ACC this season. Randy Waldron telling us that her insertion into the starting lineup has coincided with so much more energy and attack and stability in that midfield as they get forward.
And she's a big part of the way they attack. She plays in pockets really well. And just to have that international experience also in this roster is something that you really can't put into words how much that helps.
Corner, out-swinging ball in a dangerous area. Cleared off the line by the pack. .25 Seltzer holding back, the freshman getting the start here this afternoon. Quickly, the second corner coming. A Pitt team that ranks top 5 in the country, by the way, in corners per game. Top 10 in the country in goals per game, top 5 in shots per game. It is a high-octane offense for Randy Waldron, and it puts a lot of pressure under opposing backlines. Shapansky, lefty corner, back post, loose. It's a goal kick.
And I like that service from Shapansky. The first corner, it went a little bit more to the near post area. This time, going into the back of the 6-yard box. It's just such a dangerous area. Zalesky wasn't quite able to get on that, but the delivery of these set pieces is so important, especially when you go into conference play where each team is so talented. There might just be just a couple of chances. You've got to make sure the details are right.
Olivia Protopis in the net, split some time this season with Maria Echezarreta. She's now done for the year with an injury, and so it'll be Protopis' show, the junior from Clemens, North Carolina, wearing number 1 on her jersey. Talk about NC State, 1 win, 4 losses, 3 draws. Casey, you mentioned it, some heartbreaking late goals given up. Haven't been able to finish games at times, but still very competitive, hoping that they're just a few bright moments away from turning this thing around and really making a run in conference play.
And Coach Santoro talked about that a bit. It was about putting a full 90 minutes together. There's been really good moments, but you get punished when there's mistakes, and that's something that he's really been focused on. And I think it's been bright in this first 9 minutes or so because numbers have been getting forward, and they were able to deal really well with those early corner kicks from Pitt. That's important as they grow in confidence in this game, and especially with the home advantage.
NC State's played pretty well so far. Early action. Raleigh, North Carolina. Wet, rainy, overcast day. Abiodun looking for a distance strike, whistling over the bar. Not a bad effort. Want to mention that coming up next, we cap the afternoon with some volleyball. Boston College hosting Merrimack. It's right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. It's been really cool to see volleyball on ESPN1. You've got it on Big ESPN all week. You had Louisville, Kentucky one night. And the ratings pushing near 500,000 viewers for volleyball. You got to love to see that, especially women's sports growing in the United States and the interest and the media rights. A great time, and nobody really covers it better than ACC Network and ESPN.
And you're seeing so much growth, like you said, when it's on and there's coverage, there are so many fans attending, and it's just great to see the sports continuing to grow.
You got to think with soccer, right, Casey? This is an opportunity right now with just globally the attention that the United States is going to get on the sport, that all levels of soccer, whether it's collegiate, NWSL, MLS. I know you have a background in the NWSL. just the opportunity right now to grow this sport over the next 5 or 6 years could change the way we see the game, not just in this country, but globally forever when it pertains to the United States.
And we've seen gradual growth over the last decade or so, but like you said, just in this last year or two, I mean, it's been exponential, and just that coverage has been so important, and you can just see how around the world it's really growing.
You look at what NC State's done internationally, bringing in players from all over the world, Europe, Japan specifically, Canada. Congratulations to Spain on the success they had this summer. I'm sure Maria Echeverría was thrilled to see the way the Spaniards got their first World Cup.
And what that does, it just continues to grow the collegiate game when you have that international talent coming in, and all of our players here that are so talented can be pushed in different ways and learn different aspects of the game.
Deflected, low liner, cleared out by Weber. Foul, oh, offside flag went up. Still 0-0 early on. Coach Santoro looking on his 11th season. By the way, he's 3rd all-time at NC State in wins. He just needs 5 wins to pass Laura Kerrigan for 2nd all-time. Longtime head coach Larry Gross had nearly 150 wins in his career in Raleigh. Should be an exciting few years again for soccer. You got Copa America coming up, World Cup, Olympics. On the turn, shot deflected, corner, another one.
And a way that comes for Pitt is because of the way they're defending. They're dropping Fury into that attacking mid-roll and just causing turnovers by being patient. And then she gets that half yard of space, gets a shot off, it's deflected and well defended. But again, earning a corner kick, and that puts a lot of pressure on any opposition you play when you continue to get these set pieces.
Shapansky, the junior, Pittsburgh native. Pretty good ball. Right at the 6, deflected, whistle, foul, going the other way.
And again, just targeting this back post area, a little bit too much height on it perhaps. It gives Zalesky a little bit of too much time to have to figure out what to do there, push in the back. But those services, very dangerous. And NC State so far has looked good, really defensively on those corner kicks.
I've noticed the last couple of times too, trying to find Zalesky there on the back post.
Why are we winning again? Reorganize, Taylor.
Shapansky changing the point of attack. Stelzer. Minas up ahead. Flag went up, offside. Under 32 minutes left to play now. Still early going. As Weber, the junior, San Dimas, California. Abby Oden, so smooth with the rock.
We haven't spoken a whole lot about Minas yet in that holding mid-roll for Pittsburgh, but now she's starting to get a little bit more involved, and I think that's really a big catalyst as to why we're seeing Pittsburgh get a little bit more possession here.
Shapansky's been active early. That is a really good ball. And another corner, the 4th, in the first 15 minutes for Pitt.
And Mina switched the point of attack over here to Shapansky, looking just for that opposite side ball. There's a lot of space between the back line with the outside back of Soto there. Mert's not able to get over to it, but just continues to generate these attacking set piece opportunities.
3 early shots as well for Pitt. None so far for NC State. Shapansky, she's been busy so far in this first half. That's a really good ball to the back post again. She's delivered some dimes.
And that's what you want your outside back to do right there for NC State. Weber does really well. All you can do because of the service being so good is flick that out, and she does that for the throw-in.
Drop it!
Away from traffic!
Strong defending by Hall Robinson, the senior from Bowie, Maryland, leads to a NC State goal kick.
Up! Stay.
Just past the 15-minute mark. Pitt has controlled a lot of the possession. NC State has defended well for the most part. Fuchs, service towards the penalty spot, not a bad ball. Shapansky fighting for it, cleared off the line, and out for a throw. Leah Hall Robinson.
And Fuchs just gets forward really well there for Pitt. It just kind of offsets the back line for NC State. And the more the outside backs get involved from either side, you just create an overload, a 2 versus 1 and a 3 versus 2 in those wide channels. And that just stretches out defenses. So definitely a really dangerous part of the game that Pittsburgh's starting to implement in.
Eddie Waldron has talked about expectations at Pitt. He said, look, we know we broke the barriers down last year. This is a group that can do something special. Sweet 16 without Amanda West found answers. They found ways to put the ball in the back of the net to defend at a high level. Now West back in the fold. And he really feels like, look, this is a team, if we get to the NCAA tournament again, as we expect, should push to try and make a College Cup. Should in the ACC try and push for the league crown. Now you see that offense there, Casey, 26-7. 26 goals already.
And that's impressive. Obviously the 26 goals, but also only giving up 7 goals as well. When you are a team that likes to send numbers forward like Pittsburgh does, you're inevitably going to leave spaces that really good teams can take advantage of in the attacking transition. And so to only give up 7 goals with that kind of high power offense is also really impressive.
Without a doubt. And Randy's interested, I think, in seeing as the schedule gets a little tougher, right? Again, when you start facing teams that can expose you and punish you with the space that you do give up because of the way that you play, how does this back line respond? How does Ellie Breach respond in net? Those challenges are coming. Abby Yoden towards the back. Mertz. Still Mertz, good defending, Kawagishi. Give the back some credit. They have swarm numbers to the ball. Maybe they can hit Pitt in transition. Runners coming up the pitch now. Great individual work. Final ball left a little bit to be desired.
And Shapansky was tracking all the way back on that one as the winger, and there was a huge space to be able to split that pass. And it's better from NC State. They just had to beat that initial pressure, and then they're driving at the back line of Pitt.
Weber turns and clears it away.
And this is a great run from Jamise Joseph, just finding space, taking on. This is what she needs to do in this game. She draws so much attention. It's just lacking that final pass precision right there. But those are the moments that Pitt's gonna have to be aware of, because those transition moments are what can get a goal on the opposite side, no matter how much possession you actually have.
Casey, that's a change, too, from where they've put Joseph so far this season. Santoro wants her to play through the middle a little bit more, have the ball at her feet a little bit more. She has to be the catalyst and the straw that stirs the drink for NC State.
Well, I think there's this balance of how you want to play, but also your opponent, and Pittsburgh plays with one holding mid, so getting her in there, Jamise Joseph, to see if she can beat that pressure and run at a back line, gets her on the ball a little bit more.
Booted away. Escaping pressure for the time being. NC State sitting in a relatively low block. Trying to make life as difficult as possible on Pitt. Towards the middle, touch, bow, mistake, save! Protopis there to save the day. And it was Mellenhorst who was looking to try an exchange and cash in on the mistake by that NC State back line.
And this ball looks just a bit hopeful being played in, but Holt just knocks this ball down right in a dangerous area, and looking just to be opportunistic was Mellenhorst. What a great save from Protopis, a really good heads-up play, because this would have been a bad moment for the Wolfpack if that had been converted.
Fifth corner, Pitt, Protopis, Abiodun. Now Joseph. She can fly in the open space. Play on. Now the throw to Pitt. Not bad by Mertz. Getting back there, getting into it. Physical play.
And it's been really industrious from both Mertz and Szczepanski also on the left side there in that corner kick setup. Mertz was one of the two that were back, and she did exactly what she needed to do. You have to stop that transition moment so it doesn't become a 1v1 at the back.
Venus, Stelzer. Mertz. Gordon getting a couple touches. Ashton Gordon, the fifth-year senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Still nothing. Want to remind you, Thursday right here on ACCN, we'll have a women's soccer doubleheader. Number 8 Clemson will be in Coral Gables to take on Miami at 6 Eastern. Then Louisville hosts Pitt at Lynn Family Stadium. Going to be a great night of soccer. That doubleheader.
Clemson has been really good this year, too. McKenna Moore is playing really well for them. They've scored a lot of goals so far in non-conference play.
All right, NC State. A little bit better. Joseph asking some questions, trying to put the pressure on this Pitt back line in transition. Corner, first one coming for the Wolfpack.
What I like about that attack is there were numbers ahead of Jamise Joseph, getting those numbers in the attack. They did it early on in the half. We've seen a period of time where they haven't gotten to get forward as much, but on that one, there's numbers around her, so it really forces players to have to make choices, and then you get an attacking set piece out of it.
Big Kawagishi, 2021 All-ACC freshman team. And tore ACL in the preseason last year. Not bad, it's loose. Breach couldn't hold on. Pop back into the air across. This time Breach confidently grabs it.
Get up, ladies.
And the ball again targeted toward the back post area. Breach goes up for it. There's just a lot of congestion there right in front, not able to hold on to it. Szczepanski kind of gets it out of that real dangerous area and then gives Breach another opportunity. But just like that, NC State can generate opportunities from set pieces themselves.
And now Mertz. Joseph tracking back. This is Joseph. Good with the ball at her feet, onto her left. Couldn't quite hit it clean. Not a bad run, though, individually by Joseph.
So savvy there from Joseph, but it allows her to use that technical ability she has when there's runs ahead of the ball. You saw Lexi Strickland out on the left side and just really able to take on in the 1v1 if I'm NC State, I want her to continue to do this. She breaks out in midfield. You can see the runner to her right is Jabril, able to take a look, taking on 3 players right there. Just doesn't quite get that chip the way she wants to, but this is a confident center forward. That's what you want. Look at the savviness of being able to cut back on the left foot. She's certainly a danger here for the Pitt back line.
She almost kind of hit a little basketball hesitation, little almost crossover action, getting onto her left. Not bad. And that's part of it, right? They want Joseph a little bit deeper in the game, more involved in the way that the attack forms. And again, Coach Santoro said at point blank, Jamise Joseph is the key to this season.
She is. She can score goals in a lot of different ways, and you want a player to kind of get hot, you know, start scoring goals. Their confidence is up. They attract a lot of attention, and then that allows other players to step up as well. And that can really be a turning point if you score a really good goal like that, especially for a team that's looking for that win and how they're going to win games in the ACC.
Just shy of 19 minutes to play in the first stanza. Abby Oden having a hit. I believe the flag went up.
Abby Oden just finding some space here in between the midfield and back line. Takes a deflection on that shot. It really put Protapas in an interesting situation there, and then a corner kick was called, but you certainly don't want to leave Abby Oden open in that area with that much time and space.
So the flag did stay down. It is the 6th corner coming for Pitt. Firecracker of a shot. High into the right, looking for that upper right 90. For Landy Mertz.
This ball's played to the back of the 6-yard box, falls to Mertz, and actually has a bit of time, just didn't really go through the ball on the technique to keep that one down, but a good opportunity for Pitt.
Mertz started her career at Dayton. Dynamic player. Has been so good in transition for Pitt. Has made a 3rd-team All-ACC in her career. Leads this Pitt team with 5 assists, and we've given a lot of the accolades, right, to Shapansky and to Fury, to West. So many dangerous options, but a player like Mertz, who, as you mentioned, so industrious, gets back. We've seen that today. Can be integral for a team that has high hopes.
When you're looking to make a deep run in the NCAAs, obviously first making the tournament, then trying to make a deep run, you've got to have multiple players that can assist, that can score. It just allows your attack to be unpredictable and not every player to feel like they've got to be the player. So that's really something that's great, and Sarah Shapansky leads the way with those 6 goals, but also you have multiple players in Fury, West, and Mertz that have both assists and are able to finish. Who do you focus on? It's a very difficult thing to do.
We've yet to see Amanda West check into this game. Being told that West is actually making her way to enter the game. Pitt's all-time leading goal scorer. Over 40 of them in her career. Could be the opportunity now to see her come in. Here we go. So West on for Shapansky. West, who battled an ACL tear of her own, has made her way back. Last year was off to an incredible start before the injury versus Cincinnati. She's kind of picked up where she left off. 5 more goals this season. Top 5 in the ACC. And Sportolo is in for Jabril for NC State.
A lot of the opportunities we've seen from Pittsburgh have really come off those corner kicks and attacking set pieces. NC State's done a really good job of just getting behind the ball, having a compact defensive shape. So the ball movement, speed of play to shift the back line is going to be important.
Goal kick coming for NC State. Preseason All-ACC for Amanda West, who's been a member of the first team in her career before. Samaya Fury had a game-winning goal against Cincinnati on Sunday. The assist from none other than Amanda West. There she is, number 9. Captain's armband. 44 goals in her career, by the way. 3rd for active players right now in the country. Brooklyn Holt on the throw. Dangerous area, whistle, foul. NC State gets away with it. I want to let you know on Tuesday we'll debut our documentary about the undefeated 1999 Florida State football team. After 24 seasons, Bobby Bowden led the Seminoles to a wire-to-wire perfect season, something that had never been accomplished before. More than 20 FSU team members, opposing players, and head coaches were interviewed for this amazing doc. The 1 hour, we're number 1, the story of the 1999 Florida State football team premieres at 7 Eastern right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Under 13 to play. First half, still scoreless. Pitt 6 shots, but again, they've dominated most of the possession. They haven't really had too many quality chances, right? Nothing that just kind of screams at you other than the one early on by Mellenhorst that Pratapis saved.
And what's interesting about this is they're not being pressed, but NC State's going into a 4-4-2 defensively. Lexi Strickland's pushing out to the left with Warner and Jimmy Joseph up top, and so the center backs are really having to set play, and it provides a compact shape. So that ball just needs to move quicker. Otherwise, NC State's going to be able to sit in that, and there's not going to be as many opportunities in the run of play.
And about checks in for Abby Oden. West. Throw in. Fifth-year senior from Canada, Amanda West, is Ellie Caulfield getting her first minutes.
No turn, double it!
And on the Panthers lineup, number 4, Ellie Caulfield. Coming out is number 15, Chloe House.
Finders keepers, what do you think?
Why not? They're doing a lot of work over there.
I feel like you should at least be able to trade that in for like a free popcorn or ice cream.
Why not? I think so too. I think that's a great idea.
Back in the Little League baseball, they were like, if you get a baseball and you return it, you get something free from the concession stand. Speaking of baseball, Doak Field not too far, just down the road from Dale Park. Elliot Avent's team, a couple seasons removed from a deep run to Omaha. I maintain they deserved better. That's a really good ball. Oh, Joseph maybe had a little bit more time than she thought. Fired off a quick one.
In that area of the field, you want to go to the far post, but something you have to be careful with your center forwards is not give them enough freedom in the final third. This is a great attacking transition moment. Joseph trying to penetrate that back line. You want to force the save here. Just missed hit there. Might have been trying to go for that near post upper 90 area, but not an opportunity that can come from that if you're not just absolutely perfect on it. But you can just see how Pitt, when they have possession, can be exposed behind if there's a turnover quickly and then runs that go into that space behind the back line.
Fernanda Soto. Finish out the half, Veronica Warner. Foul won by NC State. Fourth foul called on Pitt so far, just one on NC State. And Weber sends it forward. Almost feels like NC State's been chasing the match for large portions of it. Other than Joseph, who's had a few brilliant runs, not a whole lot of support getting forward to help link in the offensive third.
Well, with the attack that Pittsburgh has, and I don't just mean the scoring, but just the ability to keep possession, very comfortable on the ball, you have to have that defense compact shape. And that's something that NC State has done extremely well here this afternoon, just really shifted, made the spaces small. And if the ball doesn't move faster from Pitt, then those spaces stay small, and it takes a moment of brilliance to break it down, and that just hasn't happened yet.
Pitt's got numbers forward. Another cross. If you're NC State, you take that. Robinson on the right. Whistle, another foul.
And I think these wide areas are the key to both of these teams, but especially to Pitt if they want to open up that compact defensive shape of NC State. The ball has to move wide. That draws an outside back into that space, and then seams start to open up. And NC State on the flip side, if they can continue to stay compact, it frustrates Pitt because they can't quite open up those spaces, and you see those errant crosses just going in where you're hopeful that it's going to bounce down somewhere.
Freshman Bordelot, Canadian. The Austrian Fuchs spent some time with Man City, hoping to be with Austria for the Euro U19 championships. Service by Sims. Robinson. Bordelot. Fury into the wide space. Great coverage. Throw in. Brooklyn Holt, the sophomore. Ball one. In the pack transition. Under 4 to play in the first half. We'll have Tim Santoro's thoughts on this opening 45. Get him going into the locker room. Hasn't been easy for the Wolfpack so far this season. Have just one win on the year. You can see Santoro in the back trying to guide his team position. I want to call this a desperate opportunity for them, but they could sorely use a win, a result of some kind to feel good about themselves kicking off ACC play.
Well, their defensive effort so far in this first half has been good, but you have to find ways to generate goals, and I think that's why we saw Coach Santoro talking to his team, because set pieces can be a really good way to do that when you're having to play a little bit against the run of play. So that service is going to be important, especially as we head into the second half, unless they can establish a little bit more possession, set pieces, and also that attacking transition that we've seen a couple times from Joseph off the dribble, but also her runs in behind and being a recipient of a pass there.
Tactically, formationally, do you change anything if you're NC State? Do you put more numbers into the attack, or is the plan working so far trying to frustrate Pitt?
I think it's working. I think their defensive shape has looked really compact. Besides the one mistake in the back off Holt's foot where it came down to Mellenhorst, there really haven't been direct opportunities that have tested the goal. So why not continue to do that, see if Pitt can figure it out, and then have moments where when there is a ball turned over in possession, you have runs above the ball. And that may mean more and more players are coming into the game with those fresh legs to do so. But I think so far it's been really a good game plan for NC State.
Knocked forward, won by the pack. Gordon. Manus. Oh, was looking for Fury. West. Poor ball. Now NC State. Pockets of space, heavy touch. Fernando Soto, junior from Romeoville, Illinois. On the turn. That was good from Bout, finding the space. Ball one. Here comes NC State looking for ball down the line. It's not going to get the job done.
1 minute
Fury, can she carve out an angle? Deflected, the follow. Is that another corner? I believe it is. It was Weber.
And these are big moments right here. I mean, you're in the last minute of the half. You don't want any opportunities. Good defensive effort to come across and cover, but right here is a scary moment. And now, from a corner kick, NC State has to make sure that none of this, how they played in the first half, goes to waste in one moment here. So organization is huge.
And swinging balls low, oh, popped. Into the net, it got in there. Right at the end of the half. Ellie Caulfield gives Pitt the lead on the road. And like you said, Casey, just right at the end of the half, so much goodwill done by NC State, but Pitt able to find one on the set piece.
And that's just so difficult right there. It flicks on, there's a lot of players in front. It goes off of Weber and pops down right to Caulfield. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time and being more alert to this bouncing ball. This is hard for NC State because their defensive effort has been really good. This can really change things in the second half because NC State's going to have to try to come out and try to get that equalizer.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Final few seconds tick off.
First reward. Do you keep yourself in the game as long as possible and hope for an attacking set piece or a transition moment that gets the equalizer, or do you change something that, you know, is about getting more attacking opportunities? And I think for NC State, it's about, can you get more numbers forward? We talked about that a little bit with the keys early on in the game, so I don't think it's much of an adjustment from them except getting a little bit more support around Jamise Joseph when they do have those moments.
How does that work when you put it into practice? Obviously, compact defensive shape, right? But now you're down 1-0, as you mentioned, and you do have to, there is a bit of a sacrifice and a bit of a dynamic change as you get numbers forward. What is the perfect key there? Just hold your thought, because that's a really good ball. Could this be another moment? No, West tried to go outside of the boot. Not a hard save, all things considered, for Protopis.
And Randy Waldrum talked about being more clinical in the final third. You put that away, this is an entirely different game. The pressure becomes, you know, almost something you don't even feel as a player for Pitt. So that's a big moment right there. But you ask about that risk versus reward. If you start to put players forward, Pitt's a good enough team to find those gaps like they just did with Amanda West going in.
Are you surprised with the choice, the method of choice on the shot outside of the boot?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not a high percentage choice, but when you have goal scorers, you do want to give that element of freedom of you make those decisions. Although I think as a coach, when I did coach myself, if you're going to do those choices, score at least, so we don't have to say anything as a coach. Otherwise, pick the high percentage opportunities to get an opportunity. And this was just a lot of movement there in the middle third of the field. Shapansky, this is a great weighted ball. And just thinking probably that Protopis came a little bit more to the near post than she actually did, but really that probably could have been a pass into that near side.
Service, low line drive, Protopis snags it out of the air. Amanda West. You see Pitt so far, early action in the second. They've turned up the pressure just a touch.
When you can hear the respect from Randy Waldrum as well, saying we've got to watch those transition moments, talk to the center backs, talk to our holding midfielder in Minas or Caulfield, whoever's in that 6 role. So there's a lot of respect for what NC State can do in certain moments. But you've got to believe he's also said, let's get a second goal. Let's take that pressure off. Let's go forward. They enjoyed the possession. He was happy with it. Now in the final third, can we make them pay when we create those opportunities?
Pitt's been able to get 10 shots in this game just to NC State's 2. Goal came with 21 seconds left in the first half by Caulfield. It was her first of the year. Stelzer, the freshman. Space carved out. Shot deflected. Last touched by the Panthers. And Landy Mertz, goal kick, NC State. Injuries have bit the Wolfpack this season. Starting keeper Maria Echezarreta out for the year. Pretty good ball. Wolfpack looking to capitalize. Into the 18. Joseph shot, save, breach. Best moment of the game so far for NC State. They almost had the equalizer.
And that's what Coach Waldrop's talking about. These are moments right here, a quick turnover in possession. It's a long ball. Center backs not reading that danger and able to sniff it out. Jabril putting a lot of pressure on. It's a little bit different of a role now. Jamise coming to support Jabril in that moment. This is an unbelievable save. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was in. And it was a great save from Breach.
Wonderful ball by Chisholm. Jabril, really good run forward. Joseph, great shot. Breach just a little bit better. Now this one off the line. It's knocked off the line. Chisholm on the header. Wow, Hall Robinson in there as well.
This is a great service. There's a lot of pace on that. Look at Chisholm just getting it on frame. The post play right there is what saved it. And then the second opportunity again, that's the freshman Stelzer that's doing exactly what she needs to do on the post. But two really good moments for NC State and shaky for Pitt defensively.
Being told we are going to have a review. And it was Stelzer, Casey, that was on the line that cleared it off.
In the run of play, it did look like her body was behind the ball, but they'll definitely take a look at this in a goal-scoring opportunity right here as the header goes. Stelzer's there. It beats Breach, but that is definitely appears from at least this angle to not have gone over the line, but they'll look even closer. You want to take a look at these goal-scoring moments, but you can see the foot is out in front of that white line. Yeah, and it certainly appears so that they were able to clear that one out, but these are big moments in ACC play, so you want to get it right.
That's been an emphasis for the league in partnership with ESPN on trying to figure these things out. A lot of rules, regulations in place on how you can use review, what types of things you can review.
Right, especially with so many players in front of goal, even though on the replay it looks very clear, like it's very hard to see that when there's so many players right in front of the goalkeeper. So I'm glad they went to the check on that and made sure it was right.
Third corner coming for NC State. Confidence growing for the Pack now over the last few moments. Towards the back of the box. Was there a touch on that one? Nope. Just a goal kick. Chisholm getting into the mix and making her presence felt in the second half.
And that's what these corner kicks and attacking set pieces are for. If you've had to defend most of the game, look for these moments, have some individual brilliance to find them, and then be able to deliver on service and execution. Very close to getting the equalizer in this one, but I think this is a way back in for NC State if they can generate more of those opportunities.
I want to remind you that coming up next, we cap the afternoon with some volleyball as Boston College hosts Merrimack. It's right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
Substitution for the Wolfpack.
Hall Robinson will take a breather. Brooklyn Holt, sophomore from Wake Forest, North Carolina. already, 7 total shots for the two teams combined. NC State, though, out shooting Pitt 4-3 here in this second 45. And so some numbers being sent forward, maybe a sense of urgency creeping in for the Pac-2. We've seen them enjoy the ball a little bit more.
Well, the way they're set up, Olu's a little bit higher up the field, which is helping get numbers underneath. So that's something they're going to have to adjust throughout and take advantage of, because once the half continues and goes forward, you kind of lose that surprise element of just having a little bit of a different shape or a different player that's in a different role, perhaps. So they want to take advantage of that early. And so far, Pitt's done well to kind of weather the storm here.
Better from NC State. Runners joining the attack. Jabril been a touch more influential here in the second. Mertz in space. Wants the shot herself, closing down. Corner.
And that all started from the defensive effort on the other side from Gordon, just showing a lot of patience as NC State tries to press numbers forward. The back line stays for State, so the transition moment not too bad for them and not punished really, but getting the corner kick still a big opportunity for Pitt to try to extend their lead.
Shapansky, 8th corner. Back post, towards the middle, poked. Center of the goal, Protopis had it.
And Amanda West does really well, just looking around, seeing if anything will bounce down. It does, just a bit of a half chance, doesn't go all the way through it to get enough power, but those are scary moments right there just because of the bodies that are in front of Protopis in that moment.
Credited with her 4th save of the contest. West enjoying the ball. To space, Mertz. 1v1. Back post, a little too heavy. Monica Woner, as well as Jade Bordelot entering the match. Olu, Jabril, take a breather.
You can see a little bit of disappointment in Jabril's face coming off, because the first 10-minute shift that they put in, there were some opportunities generated, but you want one of those to be converted, but they'll have that opportunity to potentially come back in and just to see different looks, to see what can really try to break down the back line of Pitt.
Tim Santoro has to like what Jabril's given his team here in this opening portion of the second half.
She did really well to get in pockets to where she could just pick up anything that was cleared, and that's kind of what you're saying. If you're going to commit numbers forward, you tell your backline and holding mids, if it's a 50-50 ball, just get a foot on it, get it forward, and allow your front runners to clean it up and go the opposite way.
1-2. Joseph, dangerous. Running on, charging towards the net. Shot. Was there a deflection? There was not. Didn't get the cleanest of strikes. But you see how dangerous she is, Casey, with the ball at her feet.
And she has got to just continue to do this. She's got to go in the 1v1 more often. Look at this right here. Just feints a little to the left, goes to the right, just completely mishits it. But they're generating chances. That final piece obviously has to come with the execution, but the more Joseph is running at the back line, the better for NC State.
Stop!
West. Going for it! She's got it! From distance! Take a bow, Amanda West!
And this is so important when you have a 1-0 lead, to have an individual moment of brilliance that just puts a little bit more separation in the game. And who better than Amanda West, who is just able to score goals from anywhere, gets on the ball. She had 2 early opportunities that she didn't just do very well with, actually more simple finishes than this one. Picks it up, just gets a little bit of that half space. The cover is not close enough to be able to block that shot. And this is just an absolute beauty. Look how it dips right at the last second to go right under the crossbar.
45th career goal for Amanda West. She just continues to tack on in the record books. And it felt like just a half chance that she turned into a full chance. I mean, that was unbelievable from Amanda West.
It really was. 2 players holding midfielders were within 2 yards of her, but she just does a little bit of a shimmy shake, gets them to move, and gets that half yard of space. It's the quick release, and that ball knuckles right in. It's a great finish.
6th of the season, 2 for Amanda West. Ty Shapansky for the team lead. And we've discoursed about the depth that this team has, that Pitt has. It comes in waves. Randy Waldrum told us at times it's challenging for me to figure out who starts, who comes off the bench, how do I keep everyone happy? Because we do have options, we do have talent, and they're all contributing. Everyone has been getting on the score sheet, so it's not like one player is struggling right now. They just have so many good ones.
And there's been multiple games where they've scored 5 goals. There's been 4 different goal scorers. And when that happens early in a season, you get everyone's confidence up. But also, last game, Fury has a brace. The game before that, Evers scores. There's different people stepping up in different moments, and that's the sign of a really good team.
Edge of the 18, really good individual defending. So Pitt doubles its lead. Shapansky was given the assist. That is her 5th of the year. Mellenhorst, wearing number 10. About 15 minutes now into the second. It's been a very workmanlike performance, hasn't it, for the Panthers? Nothing that stands out too much. Obviously, the West goal was incredible. However, they've just kind of stayed the course, and they've worn down this NC State team little by little.
Well, and I think sometimes when you have the success that they've had, that it can be difficult. You just expect goals to come. But like you said, they just kept at it, kept it with the possession, trusted in the way they play and the game model that they have, and they've been rewarded for it. Honestly, you never want to lose, but losing to Xavier probably showed them, okay, we can lose, so we've got to be aware of this, but let's still stick to our style of play, and they've been able to find the goals out of that and with a lot of patience.
Knocked away. Cleared. Right back to NC State. Can the Wolfpack get one? Can they cut this lead in half, make it an interesting game over the final 30 minutes? West on the left, demanding attention. Caulfield. Foul given to Bordelot. giveaway. Pitt running on. Foul given going the other way. Casey, as we take a look at the goals so far, Pitt's done it in a variety of ways.
Well, this service was just put into a dangerous area. Good organization, good framing at the back post by Caulfield, but this came at such a horrible time for NC State in that last 30 seconds of the first half. And then Amanda West just showing what she can do, finding separation, putting them up, and it can't be understated how big a second goal like that is. It just relieves a little bit of pressure. You certainly still, for the next 15, 20 minutes, want to be careful not giving NC State a way back into this game if you're Pitt, but so far, so good for them, and the second goal really providing just that extra cushion.
It's Caulfield's first of the year, West's sixth. Perhaps Pitt's not done. Towards the penalty spot, turning. Towards goal. Releasing the pressure was NC State. Yeah, we talked about, again, just the number of options that Randy Waldrum has. Shapansky and West now tied atop the leaderboard for goals. Fury right behind them.
They have their own golden boot race going on within their own roster. Just you score, I score. Fury is definitely right there behind. And Landy Mertz, I think the assist side of things also really important. She's having a lot of success in the wide space. But this speaks well to Pitt as they look to go throughout this conference play, just keeping the confidence high.
Chloe Minas entering. Caulfield taking a breather. Abby Oden also coming in. This shot deflected. Towards the end line, now the sideline. Throw in given to Pitt. I think Soto was trying to hurry the play.
I would do the same thing. Unless they're going to call it back, why not? Let's try and keep the game going. A lot of numbers forward there, just the offside call, and now NC State's going to be able to go the other way. But really, if you're NC State, you want to speed this up a little bit. Yes, there's a risk of giving up another goal, but it really doesn't matter at this point. Can they get numbers forward? Can they maybe get their outside backs into the attack to allow just a bit more possession? But it's hard to get it off the foot of the Pittsburgh group right now.
Obviously, Jamise Joseph is the easy answer. Is there anyone else on NC State that can kind of get in and give this game some life for the Pack?
I think it's playing in combination with Jamise Joseph, whoever that is. Jabril has shown that she can get up there and cause problems herself. Obviously not in the game right now, but I think she's a big one. I'd like to see Lexi Strickland get a little bit higher. She has some pace. She's good when she's running at defenders.
Oh, beautiful turn, firing right to Protopis. Oh, Shapansky cleverly carved out her space. You mentioned Strickland. Second on the team, lead in goals, or I should say leads the team in goals, excuse me, with 3 so far on the year.
And she's a player that is really good on set pieces as well, good in the air. She's not big in stature, but her timing is great. She's not afraid to go up. She's brave. She scores a lot of goals in that way. We haven't really seen her get on the ball a lot today, but I don't think that's really about NC State necessarily. It's about the possession of Pitt. They've done really well to just keep possession, and that fatigues your opposition when you do that and you're not able to get on the ball as much.
Strickland had the game-tying goal against High Point on Thursday night. I believe all the ACC was off on Thursday as they prepared to start conference play. NC State, though, Tim Santoro said we like to play one more non-conference game if we can in that week, just to kind of keep the flow going. The Pack was down 2-1 until Strickland's goal in the 77th minute. Abiod, confident. Flag went up, offside.
I like that change of point, though. That's really nice. It just stretches out the field a little bit more. And I think also what I've been really impressed with is the play of Stelzer at that outside back position. She's just a freshman for Pitt. She's done really good defensively. To get this type of game in these minutes for a freshman in that position is really good, because you just provide a little bit more depth in the back line as well. We've talked about the depth in the attacking, but also the depth across the back line is really important.
West starting to attack deeper in the hole. Kawagashi looking for a teammate to link up with. Good work by Sims, freshman from Mississippi. Strickland, haven't called her name too much this afternoon.
It just seems like there's always Pitt players around the ball, 2 and 3 players when they do lose possession. And Randy Waldrum talked about that. That was a focus for them, especially against a team like Cincinnati who dispossessed them and then tried to attack the opposite way, taking them out of their possession. So today it's looked a lot more organized. And when it's an individual effort on the opposition side, it's just really hard to beat that pressure without lots of extra movement above the ball and even support below it.
Fury, throwing, coming for Pitt. Thursday, right here on ACCN, we'll have a women's soccer doubleheader. Number 8, Clemson will be in Coral Gables to take on Miami at 6 Eastern. Then Louisville hosts Pitt at Lynn Family Stadium. Should be an excellent night of soccer here on ACC Network. Haven't had a chance to see Mia Vaughn yet. She enters, the senior from Virginia Beach. And Olu as well, joining her. A senior and a freshman. Shy of 20 minutes to play from Raleigh. The Panthers looking to move to 1-0 in ACC play.
Away!
NC State just trying to make things interesting. All it takes is a goal to breathe some confidence back into the home side. It's a Pac team that really hasn't been shut out this season but once. That happening against Harvard. They haven't completely struggled to find the net.
It's been a lot of close games, and you can see their defensive compactness, which has been good today. They were undone by a set piece and then a long-range shot, just a good individual effort. But as Bordelot tries to get forward, there's just not a lot of numbers there joining her in the attack. Were moments in the first half where State was able to get a little bit more forward, but in the second half here, it's been a lot of individual runs, and they just haven't been able to connect 2 and 3 passes to allow the time to get those players into the attack.
Question you asked earlier this week that I liked, and you said, is it depth, is it personnel? What do you credit it to? And Coach Santoro said it's been inexperienced depth, right? We have players, but they haven't been in these situations before. We're replacing a lot of talent. Injuries have come at inopportune times. It's been a combination of things, a mixture of ingredients that have led to a hard start for us so far in 23.
And that's why I think that goal given up at the end of the first half is so tough, because when you are in that position, having a tough non-conference slate and not getting the results you want to get into halftime at 0-0, that build a little bit of confidence. And so that was just a bit heart-wrenching for that goal to come at that time for a team that really is trying to claw their way back into things.
The program that's made the NCAA tournament each of the last 6 times it has played. Didn't play in 2020 during the COVID year. 3 Sweet 16s to boot. Top Drawer Soccer, by the way, released a top 100 programs based on a number of different metrics. NC State top 15 program in the country currently. Casey, you know that neck of the woods well. You played at Carolina, but that state loves its soccer. They've got great talent. The resources are there.
There's so much talent coming out of the state of North Carolina for sure, and good developmental programs from the youth level all the way up to so many good college programs. And then you talk about the fans. I mean, the College Cup is held there so many times, and it's because that support is so big, and the fan base just loves the game and really supports women's soccer.
And I feel for the frustration that Santoro's feeling, that his team's feeling. I'm sure the fan base is feeling. They haven't really had a year like this. Continuing to look for a spark plug. They had their struggles last season, but were able to find enough results to make the NCAA tournament. As that one skims the top of the net. Looked like Protopis had it covered.
And I think it depends on the way you look at it. You talk about just how much success they've had. You know, it's also something, as we take a look at this last opportunity, Stelzer just trying to get it across. It gets a little closer than I think Protopis thought, but she had it covered there in net. But just speaking of the program, yeah, it can be tough when you have a tough non-conference slate and you're used to, you know, having things go your way for quite a number of years, but also a privilege of just what he has built here at State and showing just that there's high expectations and they've had so much success. So I think it's a positive thing that they do have that pressure, because it speaks to what Coach Santoro has done and how he's built this program over the years.
Come on. Looking for some help. Gives it away. Wes onto her left foot. Panthers switch the point of attack. Now back towards Central. Abby Oden couldn't corral. Joseph turning, clipped, foul called. You get the sense of Jamise Joseph kind of gets on a heater, right? Gets hot for this team. A stretch of 3 or 4 matches. That could kind of change the complexion. One of the most talented players not just in the ACC, but in the country. Top 60, according to Top Drawer Soccer, coming into the top 100 players in college soccer coming into 2023.
And even in this game where there haven't been a lot of attacking opportunities for NC State, she was able to create moments. And if one of those moments goes in, if you're able to connect, it completely changes how the game is played, the momentum and everything. So you're right, it's just about connecting on the moments that they are able to create. There may be less this year, they may not be able to get a ton of those, but she's someone who can certainly finish when she needs to.
Long range effort. Dealt with by Protopis. 6th save credited to her, by the way. Less than 15 to play in Raleigh. Joseph, 8 goals, 2 assists last season. 18-point campaign. And Strickland will give way to Olu. Nice play by Joseph. Warner. The German. Warner also scored against High Point on a penalty kick on Thursday. And coming early in the contest as the Pack took the lead. Jabril.
Yes, good job, Fox.
Couple of Panthers swarmer throw-in Pack.
And I think something that's also important for Pitt here is the shutout. They know they're going to face a lot of different attacking styles throughout ACC play, so you can see the hunger in this team, and that speaks a lot to Coach Randy Waldrum and just how he trains them with his game model and things that are important to them. Yes, the attacking is big, but can they also be stingy defensively? And you're seeing here there's really good work rate, a lot of different partnerships as well.
Ball squirts through. Vaughn. Joseph, space to her left foot, goes down. No PK given. Numbers forward for NC State.
And Jameis Joseph just getting in the 1v1. Looked to be a little bit of contact. Once she provided that touch of separation, it's Abby Oden coming in late. And it's hard to tell, but it looked like there was contact maybe on that right leg. And again, Joseph just drawing a lot of attention in and around the penalty area, but just not going her way.
Annie Mertz on to finish the final 12 or so. Soto looking for Joseph. A lot of space. Here for Mertz. Into the box. Oh, great defending. Deflected away. Minas staying on her feet. The captain. Back to Mertz. Low service. Clips off Vaughn's head. Okay, so we've got a really good top 5 tilt coming next week. From Chapel Hill, your old stomping grounds. Florida State, North Carolina, always a good matchup. 3 battles last season. Carolina got last laugh in the College Cup.
Yeah, this is always a great one. It's definitely one that has really developed over the years and just grown stronger and stronger. They're always nationally ranked. They really both have opportunities to be at the top of the ACC. So this is a game that both of these teams mark on their calendar.
It's turned into a little bit of a professional rivalry, so to speak.
It is.
It's been good for the league, hasn't it, to see these teams all rise up, not just Florida State, but there's a number of programs. Virginia Tech had some success there in the early 2010s. Notre Dame has come into the league and been a force. Duke's really been good. I could name so many. Virginia, right, what Coach Swanson's done. It was just Carolina for the longest of time, and now this league has the depth, and you could argue it. I'm a little biased, but I think the ACC is the best league in the country.
I'm definitely biased on that, but I also think there's some merit to it. But from top to bottom, you're right. Since I played and then to now present day, just the top to bottom has been so good and just a lot of competition. The coaching has always been of the highest level, but there's more and more players that are just very high level players, very cerebral. The athleticism is on display, and it's a really good product from the ACC as always.
What Clemson's done this season, what NC State's been over the last 5 or 6 years. Could Pitt be the new kid on the block? Casey, I might name the whole conference if I keep going. 2-0 Panthers over the Pack. 8.5 to play.
When we talk about just the depth of players, but even just the evolution of coaching, we talked with Randy about that this week, and he said, you know, he's really gone to more of not just fixing something that went wrong that week, but a game model and how they want to play and their principles since his time at Notre Dame and into the professional game and now coaching in the ACC along with Nigeria. That evolution of coaching as well and just how it's developed players just makes for a really good product on the field.
And oh, by the way, Stanford is coming into the league here next season.
That's
so, I
true.
Mean, they're decent.
Can you imagine?
Right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. They got a good product as well.
Makes a tough league even tougher. And what we'll have on ACC Network next season and beyond, I mean, you're talking top 25 matchups probably every single game. As Kawagashi heads to the bench, comes in, excuse me, as Warner heads to the bench, I should say. Love Emeka Kawagishi's game. From Osaka, Japan, the junior. Has battled ACL tears. Little sweeper-keeper action for Protapas. Coming up for this Pitt team as that schedule gets a little bit tougher. They're going to get the dub here, but Louisville, no slouch, especially at home. Notre Dame has been fantastic. Boston College has some individual talent.
And getting his first win underway is obviously huge.
Protapas punches it over. Nice shot there by Mertz.
And I like that from Mertz because she's had so much space where I feel like she could have gone inline a lot more often, and she has gone that way, but this time decides to come inside. I like that unpredictability of her coming into that inside space, playing a little bit more inverted, and it's a good opportunity on frame that forces a save.
Come on, Mike. Let's see one on your left. Ready? We have our 3. Yeah, we're good. Stop!
In swinging ball towards the 6. Abby Oden lining it up, chips it back towards the 6-yard box. No one able to get a foot on the end of it. Into the 18. Theory muscling. His last touch by a player in white. That was Chisholm. And it is another Pitt corner. We talked about them being the 3rd ranked team in the country in terms of corners per game. They've gone north of their season average now with their 10th.
Everything out. Rush, rush. Come on. Away. Hard ball. Speed. Rush, get the ball out. Go. Set it up.
We got a glimpse of what Pitt has coming. Now NC State, as they continue to look for their first win since August, it doesn't get easier. And at Wake, and then Duke and Carolina, 2 of those 3 matches on the road.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It always is, but 2 on the road, 2 ranked opponents, and there's just more of that coming down the line for any of these teams in the ACC. So that game against Wake Forest, although it's away, will be important that they can have the same defensive shape they had, but can they develop a little bit more in the attacking half? And that's certainly something they'll be looking to do as they go into that matchup.
3 in-state foes. Maybe that creates just a little bit more the personal hype, right? Some urgency, especially when the Pack meet Carolina. That can be an emotional game.
It can, and that really changes the elements of the game. At the end of the day, they aren't professionals, and so you don't necessarily want that just professional approach. You want that rivalry. You want that ability to go and play against teams that you have that emotional attachment with.
Get Carolina at home.
Up.
Perhaps that'll be a great crowd here at Dale.
Taylor, no one.
Nice back heel. Under 3 to play. Pitt in full control. Looking for the icing on the cake. Foul.
Front it. One front. Everyone in. One front. He's in. Hand up, front it. Let's go right. This one. We need numbers in here. Hannah. Watch this. Stay. He's just joined her on the left. Over me.
Service. A steaming ball by Shapansky.
No foul.
Theory, good work. Ambitious effort with the left.
And again, Pitt's generating a lot of opportunities, but they are kind of half chances, and that speaks to the defensive shape of NC State. But when talking with Randy Waldrum at halftime, just being clinical in front of goal, that they may get less chances as they go through ACC play. In fact, I expect that, even though they are a great attacking team. What are they going to do with those chances? And so this second half have been held scoreless so far. So if you get one chance, you have to put it away. And that's something that certainly will be part of their evolution and growth throughout this conference play.
Lock it. Birdie, wherever you're left.
80 seconds to play. Mertz to space. Yeah, Casey, final thoughts on both of these teams. Pitt, really good performance on the road.
It's a really good start for them, and something that I think is an expectation for them now is making sure that they bring the way they want to play every day. They were tested on the road with Xavier in Cincinnati, and they were able to come out with 2 wins. Now with NC State on the road as well. It's a great start. For NC State, it's a good defensive effort, but just not able to hold off the attack, and they're going to have to figure out how do we generate more chances going forward as they go into their next game.
Want to thank my producer, Joshua Monk, director, Justin Stoll, the entire NC State control room, all the cameras at Dale. A great broadcast here on this Sunday afternoon. Pitt going to move to 8-1 on the year. A strong 2-0 win on the road at NC State. Randy Waldrom's going to be really happy.